Can you even imagine that if you had a doctor that was mocking your illness?
In his race against John Fetterman for Senate in Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz has stooped to a new low. So in this video, I have a couple of main examples of how he has stooped to a new low. And you're not going to believe it. You will believe it, but you're not going to believe it. And I am laughing already because of how completely insane, especially this first example is. So, without further ado, let me play for you this recent campaign ad from Dr. Oz.
John Fetterman wants to release convicted murderers from prison. He appointed a staffer who wants to eliminate mandatory life sentences for first and second degree murderers. Murderers like Daquan Dickerson, who shot and killed a high school senior from York. Daniel Barrett, who viciously stabbed his wife to death with a steel fire poker. Craig Hines, who killed a young man in a drive-by shooting. We all know Fetterman loves free stuff, but we can't let him free murderers.
Okay. John Fetterman wants to free murderers. We all know he loves free stuff, but did you know he also wants to free murderers? This is where you go when you have nothing left. Like when you've tried everything, you've already fear-mongered about how he's Bernie Sanders, which actually we'll get to more on that because Oz keeps doing that. Bernie Sanders, voted the most popular senator 11 terms in a row. Yet still, he's trying to fearmonger Fetterman by attaching him to Bernie Sanders. You've already talked about how Fetterman he hasn't worked with his hands. He doesn't know how to help people. We'll get to more on that later. But Oz has tried everything. He really has. You know, he's tried the vegetables, the crudité. That didn't work. Nothing's working for Oz, so he has to go to Fetterman loves murderers. You can't get more insane than this. So I'll get to the other example of how he stooped to a new low, but more on the murderers. So PolitiFact here, correcting this bullshit, saying Fetterman has not called for eliminating life sentences for murderers. Fetterman advocates eliminating the Pennsylvania law mandating life without parole sentences in second-degree or so-called felony murder cases in which the defendant is an accessory to a murder. In those cases, a person killed during the commission of a felony, such as a robbery, but the defendant is not directly responsible for the killing. And I will get to why Fetterman has done this by first using this example. So Oz has attacked Fetterman now. There's actually, I guess, several ways now Dr. Oz has stooped to a new low. This is another one. Attacked Fetterman for having 2 convicted murderers on his staff, calling for him to fire them. They are Lee and Dennis Horton, brothers whose convictions were widely criticized and who ultimately were granted clemency by the Board of Pardons 5-0. So these people, Lee and Dennis Horton, are innocent. Innocent. And Dr. Oz puts out a directive calling on Fetterman to try or to fire these so-called murderers when they have been cleared and are not. So Fetterman responded to this, saying going after 2 campaign staffers is a new low for Dr. Oz. Fetterman said in response, in a statement he described the Hortons as wrongfully convicted and said that fighting for their release was one of the proudest moments of my career, and I'm honored to have them on this team. The statement noted that the Hortons' release was supported at the time by a top official in the state corrections system. Quote, they just don't belong in prison, Mark Wally, deputy superintendent at the Department of Corrections, said in a letter, citing their work behind bars to further the rehabilitation of other detained men. Quote, does Dr. Oz believe that the wrongfully convicted should die in prison? Fetterman continued. Does this man have any compassion? He's making a predictable and fear-mongering attack against 2 men who spent 27 years in prison for a crime they didn't commit. I don't think you can stoop lower than this. I really don't. Like, the next thing I'm going to show you is bad as well, but this is the lowest you can possibly go. Calling to keep innocent people in prison. Calling to fire innocent people from your staff. People that were wrongfully convicted, already spent 27 years in prison, already went through hell. And you're telling Fetterman to fire these people? What a piece of garbage. A complete piece of garbage. And on that note, how much of a piece of garbage Oz is. Mehmet, Oz, and May Audio. Abortion is murder at any stage of pregnancy. So going to how, Oz really hates murderers. I guess all those women that had abortions, he wants them in jail too. Here's another new low for Oz. Oz campaign on John Fetterman. If he had ever eaten a vegetable in his life, he wouldn't have had a stroke. Let me get to Fetterman's reaction to this.
How many of you, maybe yourself, have had a big health challenge in your own life? Yeah, any of your parents? Any of your children, maybe? Can you even imagine that if you had a doctor that was mocking your illness? Or ridiculing that? Well, here we are. Here we are right now. I would like to think that Dr. Oz may have really lost his way if you're going to make fun of somebody that had a stroke. But I don't think he ever had his way, because this is a guy that made a career of selling miracle diet pills.
Yeah, so, there is so much to go on. Dr. Oz, of course, well known for trying to sell diet pills, that miracle diet pills on his Dr. Oz show. And then later went on to admit, they were not miracle diet pills. Just knowingly spread garbage because he was paid to do so. Continues running in this race the way he's running because he's being paid to do so. Massive corporations and the wealthy, of course, back Dr. Oz. Meanwhile, Fetterman not taking any corporate money at all. More on from Fetterman here. So this is a Fetterman campaign ad, at least a social media ad. Let me show you this one.
I challenge my opponent. What have you done rolling your sleeves up in your own life to make life better for the people of Pennsylvania?
I first met John Fetterman when my son got into trouble. John took him under his wing. He helped him get his GED. John turned Braddock around, and John's turned my son's life around.
He was a one-man workforce for the city of Braddock.
When there was a fire, a shooting, an accident, John was there to help.
If someone needed clothes or food, whatever people needed.
John worked with the police and got them funding.
John stopped gun deaths for 5 years.
Made government actually work for people.
John Fetterman has spent his life trying to help people.
More jobs, fought crime, actual results for people.
John Fetterman helped change my life. He changed Harrisburg, and now he's going to change Washington.
Show me what you've done, not what you say. And John Fetterman has done it.
All right, so Dr. Oz, busy in his 10 homes, busy not living in Pennsylvania most of his life, busy voting in Turkey, busy selling diet pills on television, busy making millions, being a garbage human being, criticizing John Fetterman over not doing anything. Yet those who know John Fetterman, those that he's been touched by, those that have worked with him, know what kind of person he is. And Oz, we know what kind of person he is, based on how he's been campaigning, based on just the endless lies. Last example here of how ridiculous Dr. Oz is. He keeps doing this. This is, I've mentioned this several times now in videos because of how insane it is. John Fetterman agrees with Bernie Sanders on virtually every issue. He would be Bernie 2.0, and his past actions prove just that. Yeah, I think I replied down here. Here we go. Bernie Sanders, most popular senator. The number is highest level recorded among any sitting senator, highest ever recorded, and places him in the top slot for the 11th poll in a row, according to Morning Consult's pollsters. Just 28% of Vermont voters disapproved of the job the senator is doing, according to the poll. I don't know. I think it's kind of dumb, a dumb campaign move to attach your opponent to the guy that's been voted 11 times in a row as the most popular senator and had the highest favorability number ever. But that's just me. Maybe crudité, maybe Bernie Sanders, maybe a Hollywood star, maybe 10 homes. Maybe that's the way to voters' hearts. But I tend to think that people are relating more to John Fetterman, who actually has a history of fighting for people, actually has a solid platform, and actually knows how to connect with the real issues that people face.